Hello, it's Rebecca and today is another book review day and this is my 17th book for the 2016 BookaShelf Reading Challenge. I will leave a link down below in the description box to explain what the challenge is about, but it's to read 26 books over the year and each book comes from a different category and the categories are alphabetised. So the book that I have been reading comes from the category of Y, a book written by someone younger than you when the book was published, if that makes sense. So whatever age you are now, regardless of whether or not the author is older than you are now, they had to be younger than you when the book was published. Does that make sense? So I have been reading Only Ever Yours by Louise O'Neill, and she was born in 1985 and the book was published in 2014, making her 29 when the book was published, and I'm 34, so she was definitely younger than me when the book was published. So I will read you the blurb and then talk to you about the book. Eves are designed, not born. The school trains them to be pretty. The school trains them to be good. The school trains them to always be willing. All their lives the Eves have been waiting. Now they are ready for the outside world. Companion, concubine, or chastity, and only the best will be chosen, and only the men decide. This book is one of the best books I have read in a very long time. It is rare for a book to leave me feeling every emotion under the sun. I cannot even begin to say how brilliant this is. I'll just tell you a little bit about the story. So, as the blurb says, there are boys and girls, but the boys are born and the girls are created, and the girls are called Eves, and they have names, but written, their names do not begin with a capital letter. They're not seen as important enough to be given a capital letter at the beginning of their name. So all of their names are in lowercase, whereas the boys, they do have an uppercase letter at the beginning of their name. So these Eves are created for men. They are encouraged, that's probably not the right word, almost forced into caring only about their looks. That's all that matters. In the end, if they become a companion to a man, they are just there to have his children. That's it. So there's no learning about anything to do with intelligence at school. It's all about behaviour and makeup and fashion, and they live in these tiny little rooms that are wall-to-wall, ceiling-to-floor mirrors. So they're constantly looking at themselves. They're constantly checking to make sure that they're beautiful, that they look good enough. They have to wear certain clothes and have their hair in a certain way, and they can't eat too much, but they can't fall below their optimum weight. They have to still look good. They have to be healthy. All of this kind of stuff. And that on its own is frightening, that that's all that women are worth. But all of these girls are at school, at the school. And when it comes to their kind of graduation ceremony, they will either be chosen by the men, the inheritance, to become companions. Those who don't become companions will either become concubines or chastities, and that's kind of self-explanatory. The concubines are pretty much like prostitutes. They are just there for the pleasure, the sexual pleasure. And the chastities, I feel a little bit like nuns, and they then become the teachers at the school. They don't have relationships, they don't have sex, they are just there to teach the new lot of girls. And this book follows Frida, who is slightly different from the other girls. She thinks. She doesn't think too much, because I'm sure she doesn't know how to, but you can tell that she has some thoughts outside of the normal, this is what I have to wear, this is how I have to look, and this is how I have to behave. And oh my goodness, this book, it takes you into a horribly dark and twisted world of men being the most important thing. Now, before we even kind of get into the whole feminist issue, I'm not a feminist. I know that we're different, and I know that women have certain roles and functions in society and men have certain roles and functions in society. And that's just how it is, based on our bodies, on our size, on our shape, on our ability to do things. Not saying that women can't do everything, but not all women can do everything. I would be useless on a building site. I can barely even carry just a handbag. I'm not strong. You know, we've all got our own roles and there's no one better than the other. But there is no way that I can say that women's only purpose on this planet is to either please men sexually or to mother their children. We all have our roles, and even if our role is as a mother, that's still not a derogatory purpose. It's still not something that people go, oh, they're only a mother. That's their purpose, that's their role. Whereas here, the men are the most important. The concubines provide the sexual pleasure. The companions provide the housewife motherly duties, and no woman is allowed to step outside of this. No one can become anything higher than these three sets of women. And it's horrible. It is really, really horrible, and I can't imagine not being allowed to think, not being allowed to do what I wanted. And it's also quite sad that even in today's world, there are countries where women can't do what they want. They have to do either what their father tells them to do or what their husband tells them to do. And lacking in any sort of freedom is just horrible. And this book, oh, I can't even begin to, I was just so gripped by this poor girl who, it's not like she wants to leave this way of life because this is all she's ever known, but you can tell there's little sparks and little things that go off in her head saying this isn't the right way, this isn't how we should be. And it is horrific and brilliant, and everybody, men and women, should read this. This is a book that just says so much on so many social levels, and I cannot praise this enough. I am so glad I picked this up, and I'm so glad that I read it, and by the end my heart was pounding, and closing the book I was just left. I wanted more, and that's a sign of a good book, when you want so much more afterwards. I wanted something else, and I won't say because it's just, oh, so good. So yeah, like I say, everybody should read this, regardless of sex, gender, social standing, everything, because this will really open your eyes to a frightening world that could be a possibility. I don't know, but certainly worth reading. So if you would like to hear any of my other book reviews, then please subscribe to my channel. I put videos out every time I've read a book and buy books and do other bookish type things. So if you're interested in that, then please subscribe, and I will see you soon. Have a good day. Bye-bye.